space organizations have increased their exploration intentions for the coming decade. These space agencies have been discovered in countries such as the United States, China, Russia, and even commercial space organizations. Elon Musk and SpaceX were both participants in the competition, and as a result, some of them must work together. It is no longer news that Elon Musk and China recently collaborated, just after the Tesla and SpaceX CEO disclosed one of China's astounding lunar discoveries. Why did China find and keep the far side of the moon a secret? Joins us as we investigate Elon Musk's recent release of China's astounding finding on the far side of the moon. Be sure to hit the like button and ring the notification bell for more great videos. Also, stick around until the end to see what is the hidden discovery that China trying to hide from us. The China National Space Administration has been generating headlines with its space voyages and missions, startling the entire globe and giving NASA a run for its money. The People's Republic of China has made various discoveries over the course of its exploration while building its own space station. One of these discoveries was made on the moon, which Elon Musk found and released after discovering it. The China National Space Administration and the China Atomic Energy Authority issued a joint statement in response to the disclosed material. They announced to the public that their scientists had made a surprising discovery while doing research on the moon, as they had discovered the sixth new lunar substance known as China Site Y. Scientists from the Beijing Research Institute of Uranium Geology discovered the new mineral. The International Meteorological Association and its Commission on New Minerals Nomenclature and Categorization discovered it while examining surface samples supplied by the country's China 5 robotic mission. Change Site Y, a newly found substance, was studied and classified as lunarmite. It is the first lunar substance identified and detected by Chinese scientists, making China the third nation in the world after the United States and Russia to make such a startling finding. Scientists isolated the mineral sample, which was discovered in the form of a single crystalline particle with a diameter of 10 microns, from over 140,000 microscopic particles. It was examined by numerous advanced neurological procedures developed by the Beijing Research Institute of Uranium Geology. Scientist of the Luna Sample Research Attained Institute. Li Ying was excited at this discovery, saying the new minerals would take the research a step ahead, as it would assist them in their study of the history and physical attributes of the moon. The China 5 robotic expedition, which made this startling finding, was launched from the Weichang Space Launch Center in South China's Hainan province and safely landed on the was the world's third spacecraft to land on the lunar surface in the 21st century. After its two Chinese predecessors, China 3 and 4, the space mission returned 1,731 grams of lunar rocks and dirt, making it a historic achievement. Approximately 46 years after the previous lunar components were returned from our nearest celestial body. The moon mission lasted 23 days and was one of China's most difficult space missions. The China National Space Administration released the first batch of Luna samples sent by China 5. Each one weighs 17.5 g. They were divided into 21 lots and sent to researchers from 13 domestic research groups involved in 31 scientific projects. It also cemented China's place in history as the third country to find elements from the moon, following the United States and the former Soviet Union. Scientists from the Chinese Academy of Sciences, Ministry of Education, and Ministry of Natural Resources were also participating in the moon sample research. The findings revealed that the small moon crystal is more than 1 billion years old and as broad as human hair. Some International Meteorological Association researchers confirmed that the small moon crystal is formed of a never-before-seen composition that is connected to other minerals discovered exclusively on the moon or in meteors. These scientific breakthroughs contributed to a better knowledge of the moon's origins and development. It also served as a platform for investigating the most effective use of lunar resources. However, that was not the only startling finding made during the lunar journey. The second revelation is the true reason Elon Musk shared the information. He is a proponent of environmental protection. Scientists and researchers detected traces among the nearly 140,000 lunar particles studied from the China 5 moon rock hull. 3 heliums. Helium-3 is a kind of the helium element that is uncommon on Earth but is thought to be abundant on the moon. It is also envisioned as a viable fuel source that might aid in the transformation of clean and inadequate energy generation and consumption on Earth. As a result, Elon Musk made the information public. For some years, scientists have been astonished by the discovery of helium-3 and its potential as a source of fuel for nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion is a method of energy generation that occurs when two light atoms combine under great heat and pressure to generate one heavy atom. And nuclear fusion occurs spontaneously in the cores of stars. However, mankind have yet to create a fusion reactor capable of producing more energy than it consumes. According to the European Space Agency, helium-3 is a particularly attractive fuel source for fusion since it emits substantially less radiation and radioactive waste than other elements. The element does occur on Earth, although in minuscule levels. However, helium-3 is considered to be far more abundant on the Moon, where it has been deposited straight onto the lunar soil by the solar wind for billions of years, according to the European Space Agency, despite the fact that there are no operational reactors to put it in. Regardless, helium-3 has begun. I work at Lunar Resource. Several spacefaring governments and commercial firms, notably the United States and China, have indicated interest in mining the Moon for helium-3. The finding of a fresh helium-3 deposit on the Moon by Chang'e 5 might accelerate the worldwide competition to exploit the Moon's natural resources. Apart from the tech genius working towards clean and efficient energy, we are also aware that Elon Musk has plans to take human civilization out of the Earth to occupy and thrive in other places. Speaking of the Moon, further exploration of the Moon by the Chinese space probe at Chang'e 5 led to the detection of water on the Moon's surface. So does this mean humanity can survive on the Moon? Scientists and researchers have known the Moon to be nearly bone dry. But with the help of their Chinese lunar lander, they detected water on the Moon. And these are not just speculations, scientists can confirm that water was detected on the lunar surface. Chang'e 5 had already transmitted more than 60 ounces of soil rock samples from its visits to the Moon, where the rare minerals Chang'e wine, helium-3 were found. However, before Chang'e 5 returned to Earth, it had already employed a piece of equipment on board to collect certain measurements based on the results of these measurements. Scientists on Earth, 239,000 miles away, were aware that the space probe had most certainly discovered water on the Moon. Water is not a resource that is likely to be found in outer space. The scarcity or unavailability of water in space, as one of the keys to human survival and a life-sustaining element, is one of the reasons why reaching the last frontier is a daunting task that necessitates extensive planning. But that is going to change with this finding. To learn more about this occurrence, scientists conducted more studies to see whether the minuscule amount of water found on the Moon can be accessed for use by astronauts when they are away from the planet. For a long time, a study team led by experts from the Chinese Academy of Sciences Institute of Geology and Geophysics dug through the data collected by the Chang'e 5, and they discovered evidence of water in the readings of the space probes. They recognized H2O molecules based on their well-defined spectral reflectance, which is a measurement of how something reflects or absorbs solar energy. According to Matt Siegel, senior scientist at the Planetary Science Institute in Tucson, Arizona, there may be more water on the Moon than previously assumed. Scientists now have a better understanding of what lunar water is as a result of these events and discoveries. Unlike when the Apollo astronauts returned from Earth in 1969, they thought the Moon was completely dry. However, other missions and journeys to the Moon were made, notably, the Indian Space Research Organization's Chandrayaan expedition, which discovered traces of hydration on the Moon's sunless surface. However, whether it was H2O or hydroxyl water's near chemical relative could not be determined at the time. Hannibal Casey. The latter chemical, according to a NASA postdoctoral researcher, is similar to drain cleaner. There have also been other missions that discovered her ice in the heart in order to reach craters near the Moon's poles, which are always in darkness. This prompted scientists to return to their drawing board and examine the renowned Apollo materials. They identified water molecules in glass beads and minerals after examining the samples. That discovery was so perplexing that several scientists grew doubtful of the water, unsure if it originated from the Moon or from moisture contamination. However, there were other events in Houston that demonstrated the existence of water. The Chinese lunar land discovered water on the Moon's surface a month prior. NASA reported that they had proven the existence of water in a sunlit region of the Moon even without traveling there. NASA accomplished this by flying an aircraft up to 45,000 feet in altitude. The Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy, or SOFIA for short, was then utilized by NASA to examine the various wavelength signals of water molecules. This trip's telescope observations revealed that water could be ubiquitous on the Moon, rather than only frozen at its poles. The majority of earlier measures obtained by scientists have discovered water, but none of those investigations occurred on the moon itself until China's new finding. According to Mass Siegel, the only distinction is that the spectral reflectance data must be adjusted for the temperature of the item in order to determine how much water is there. Otherwise, the moon's surface heat could change or mask the reflected light features. But it's hard to know the precise temperature of a target, but an extreme distance that's kind of significant about this one on the luminous surface. You know that specific rock and they're able to measure the temperature of it, and there's none of this ambiguity. Chang'e 5, on the other hand, discovered no gushing rivers, lagoons, or cascading waterfalls in the hitherto undiscovered territory. Consider considerably smaller traces of water in the soil where it fell in a region known as the Oceanus Procellarum, or Ocean of Storms. The water was possibly produced by the solar wind, according to scientists. The gas is emitted by the sun, and the solar wind, which contains hydrogen atoms, collides with the oxygen in the moon, soil, and rocks. It is capable of producing water. A moon rock was discovered in the same place, with greater water concentrations from the soil surrounding it, indicating that it had a water source other than the solar wind. China is making history with more than simply space rovers. Chang'e 4 was the first Chinese spacecraft to land on the moon, making history by landing on the far side of the moon, an area that had never been explored previously. On December 7th, it blasted out from our world. Since its momentous landing on January 3rd of the following year.
You are watching Mystical